It's Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. White in the building.
Yo, I'm back in the building.
Gone for too long. Way too long.
Building.
How you
yes,
doing?
So, because, you know,
after birthday,
after birthday,
and then you disappeared.
No, I didn't disappear like that. Someone very close to me caught COVID.
Oh.
So I thought I'd caught it. I was very
scared.
The fear of COVID.
I did like 3 COVID tests before I traveled. I stayed home. I say, hey.
Because they don't enter.
And you know, when someone close to you catches it, obviously,
automatically,
your brain will tell you that you have it. I started getting all the symptoms of COVID. I said, yes, it has finally come.
Oh, your enemies have caught up.
My enemies have caught up with me.
You are the most one person that is so scared of COVID. Like, I've never seen anybody so petrified of COVID.
I did the first one. I had on Friday. I did the first one on Saturday, negative. I did the next one on Wednesday. Then I was traveling on the Sunday, so I did the 3rd one. That's the PCR. On the Friday, I was negative. I still, when I got to London, and I had to do another COVID test 2 days, I said, it's going to be positive. It was negative. So then I did test to release 5 days. I was negative. I said, hey, but I still had to do 8 days. But
wow.
It brings me to the management of COVID there and here, the difference. You can walk into any chemist and get a COVID test.
Imagine that.
Kit.
Wow.
And go and test yourself at home. So they are really, really managing it. Vaccine, you just, every corner you go.
You can be vaccinated.
You can be vaccinated. There is no long queue. In fact,
there's no law. There's no law that you must.
There's no law.
You will not come and eat.
They will just be saying, appealing. In fact, when my friend took me there, they were thanking her. That, thank you for bringing her. do you understand? So there are...
we'll get there, don't worry, wait.
We need to get there.
There's a community work. Everybody feels that there's that individual responsibility to ensure that every other person is vaccinated.
Exactly. And then the best part of it is if you have an engagement to go to, they will tell you, come to the engagement, you are welcome, but please bring your evidence of your negativity.
That's your decision card.
That's almost the same thing.
That's your decision card. Really?
They will send you the email, then you self will do your COVID test.
Places.
For public places.
That's almost what we're doing here.
And you know,
with this new law now that you must present your certification
vaccination card.
So COVID-19 results, vaccination card. Some states have adopted it, and it's going round. It's going to go round.
In fact, there are these global citizens. They have hired the shrine for the next 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
When they got to the shrine yesterday, they evicted everybody. All my staff. All of them before they entered COVID test. So they sent the video to me. I must send it to my madam because I don't know if what you are doing is correct. I read it like,
and the madam has been vaccinated.
I've done like 9. I said, all of you will do COVID test.
Good to have you back.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Did you rest the bed? Did you
No.
Had the grandkids.
How can you when you have 2 grandchildren? At 6:30 they have woken me.
But you're enjoying it. You are.
Well, half and half. I can't be liar.
So 6:30 you are up, then you do
take care of them.
During the summer, there was no school.
No, not school now. So they're even too young. Then I have to take them to the park. I will take them to the park from like 11. We'll come back 3, 4, sometimes 5.
Wow.
So I will take them all around.
You just walk around. That's good. That's good exercise.
I didn't have time for shopping.
I don't know. I'm focusing on banter on you today because
nobody has banter.
So now so you walk out them around and buy them food.
They will sleep in their prams. Then we'll come home. I didn't have time for myself. I didn't have time for shopping. It was. I missed being able to go shopping.
Yeah, it was a real grandma holiday.
It was a real grandma holiday.
We're praying to be like you someday now.
Amen. No, amen. You are getting close. Your own child is 12, Abby.
Yes, 12.
Another 10 years will be.
Let me rush to the man. Anything popping?
You are just enjoying working. Yes, just seeing her is good. I wanted to run sharp. But let's
rant. Please rant.
You rant tomorrow.
You can rant tomorrow.
No, I'm not set tomorrow.
She's not on set.
Oh.
So rant.
What happened?
Okay,
a few seconds.
Sunlight Town, I had to go there yesterday. There was a falling truck. a tanker truck yesterday fell, and I think he missed his brake, fell into the gutters and into the shops on the express. Unfortunately, the area boys, I saw them helping Lasema's rescue truck. Unlike what we were told, I saw them helping them. And then I have a problem with the chairperson, Oriade. In the entire Oriade, all the stretch of Old Ojo Road, there's so many commercial activities and every facility public is deteriorating. They didn't even prepare for the rains. The gutters, no clearing. Everything is just terrible, and we should be shy to say it. No streets that wasn't flooded in the rains. Until yesterday when everywhere was dry, it didn't look like anything would happen.
Oh, my Lord.
Terrible roads, inside Satellite Town, everywhere. They've actually done the Ilekpo one now. And that's, until you get there, you will not heave a sigh of relief. It's terrible. And they should work on Old Ojo Road. They should clear the tankers and restore it. It used to be an alternative.
I was in England when I was seeing the floods and everything. I was just, hey, thank God you are not here. I even was swimming.
But there was no flood in your area, was there?
Which area? I was in London.
Yeah, you didn't know. You didn't ask.
Not in the UK now.
Did you abandon the pictures?
No, there was no flood when I was there. There was no rain.
I saw the pictures.
I don't know which picture you are seeing.
I
don't have anything.
Okay,
I'm
let me go
all
on a
right.
break now. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, starting with the nation. UNICEF attacks scare 1 million kids from school, according to reports from UNICEF. Presidency warns on Yoruba agitators and IPOB alliance. Lagos Alta Road repairs for completion by December. Ondo borrows to pay wages, says Akeredolu. Nigerian airstrike kills 10, injures 20 in Yobe. Police officers store Esther code allowance for review. And DMO puts public debt at 35 trillion naira. Okay, which story are we taking?
Let me start with the UNICEF.
UNICEF, please.
Yes, so according to the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, over 1 million pupils out of the 37 million would miss school this year as a result of abduction and attacks that has been happening across the country. They said 20 attacks have occurred in schools this year, with 1,436 children abducted and 16 killed. They said over 200 kids are still missing as we speak. They said schools have resumed. Some resumed last week, so others resumed this week. But schools in the north, most of them may not be opening. They say some of them have shut down, others have postponed their resumption dates. Those cities are Kaduna, Niger, Kebbi, Zamfara, and Katsina. And the concern is that learners are being cut off from education, which is not good for the development of the nation. And we also know that we had a problem of COVID-19 where schools were shut down and learners had to adjust from homes. So we need to do more about our insecurity so that we don't lose out overall, basically.
So I wanted to take Akeredolu in Nation. The governor of Ondo State was addressing governors who resumed and were insisting on payment of backlog of their salaries, that his earlier stance against borrowing to pay salaries has been reviewed, and so now Ondo State will be borrowing to pay salaries because he cannot continue to see his civil servants, work without pay and go through what they go through. Ondo State is one of those states you call civil servant states, and that now he was doing what they call a percentage salary arrangement, but now he will start paying salaries and they will have to borrow, because earlier when they relied on their allocation and their deductions that were for other maintenance like loan servicing, debt servicing, what they had left forced them to do that percentage arrangement, but now they'll start borrowing and they'll pay well. I'm just disappointed because this is a state that has, I think, the longest coastal area within Nigeria.
The longest,
They have other potentials that have not been. And if you say your civil service is your highest workforce within the state, and they're not earning what you can pay them with, there's a problem. I think I expect of this person more, more proactive, creative ways than, that you just say, let's borrow. Even he admitted, but even he admitted that borrowing is eating into the future. So you see a problem, and
the boss we have was blue at the federal government in Lagos State. So, I mean, it's not easy for any state to take on that project.
It's not only like that, though. The ones in Ijegu,
The bitumen that they have,
new ones.
is it not? Is it under federal? The bitumen.
They have that.
Is it the exclusive list?
Yes, it is.
If it's the exclusive, you know, that's what the governors are fighting for. That these things that are on the exclusive list, give it to us so we can start to generate our own income.
So they're almost handicapped. I was going to talk about the Lagos Outer Road. Remember we talked about it earlier when people were complaining that it wasn't being fixed. So the governor led the Minister of Works and Housing to the Lagos Outer. The work that we've been doing actually in that Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, saying that they are providing palliative, which will be done by December to reduce the hardships people are going through, and they're spending about 13.4 billion naira to fix the road. And says we have given the commitment that we will relocate traders, we will control and manage traffic, whatever that it is that needs to be done will be done, and they will ensure that they begin to provide succor that is needed for the relief. So I'm happy that they are understanding, but also if you say it's one thing to say it, another thing if you do it. So I hope that they do exactly as they have said. Mike, you have any story in Nation, or should we move on?
It was just about the presidency warning the Yoruba Nation agitators for collaborating with IPOB and saying that their romance with IPOB has put a question mark on their claim to being rights promoters, and Bajamia Miller saying that they are the same as Boko Haram, that IPOB and Yoruba Nation are the same as Boko Haram.
Wow.
Garba Shehu was actually, to add to that, Garba Shehu was on speaking, saying that it was wrong for, but that it was actually said for the Nigerian diaspora group to use the world's largest platform, the United Nations General Assembly, to garner attention that is actually unacceptable. So they are using this world stage to garner the attention.
But protests, the right to protest is a fundamental human right. So why is this government always annoyed when people protest?
The Punch. National Assembly defends Buhari's $4.9 billion loan plan. APC-PDP clash over debt. Pursue open grazing law defaulters risk 1 year imprisonment. Government invade Lagos farmhouse, kidnap businessman and shoot passers-by. Reps demand probe of customs killing in Oyo communities. Lecturer sues Osonwo-Olu and Commissioner of Police over the COVID-19 test. Demand 65 million naira damages. I hope somebody read that. Nigeria piles up 2.36 trillion naira debt stock in 3 months. Restructuring Abeokuta Road will cost 56 billion. Southern secessionists not different from Boko Haram and IPOB, says Bajabia Mila. Okay, which story are we taking here?
I wanted to take a question because I'm just impressed now. The governor has finally signed their anti-open grazing bill into law that was passed by the House in August. And I wanted to take details of it so that people see how law can settle issues. It said a minor who contravenes provisions of Section 3, Sub 4, and has committed an offense, and the guardian or parent of such minor, owner of livestock, as the case may be, shall be vicariously liable to a fine of 300,000. And any headsman or pastoralist who attacks or threatens to attack any farmer or person or a commuter, whether or not injury is occasioned by the attack, shall be guilty of an offense and liable upon conviction. These were the issues that some farmers were having difficulty getting across to headers. And now the law has taken it into cognizance and put it in law so that we're not conversing again. I just go ahead and report to the right authorities. There's somebody who's taking these conversations. You cannot just come into farm, destroy. You know, Osun is the major food basket of the Southwest. Come and destroy farms and walk away. So these have been put into law, and Osun is on the right track for this. I love the details of the law.
So I wanted to take the House of Representatives on Wednesday are demanding an investigation into the alleged murder of some residents in Ibarapa area of Oyo State by the men of the Nigerian Customs Service. So they said on the 16th of July, this Customs Service came into the area. According to their side of the story, I think we took it in the papers here, they said they were pursuing smugglers, and then they had an altercation, gunshots were fired, and 4 residents of that area died. But the House of Reps is saying that this has to be investigated, that it wasn't what actually happened. And so I think a few days before they came to do their own raid, bandits stormed into that area as well, and 15 residents were also killed. So they should launch a full investigation to find out what has happened in that area.
All right, so the woman is suing the government.
The government, okay.
Did you have that story?
Well, you can take it. You can take it.
Because I just found it interesting that she's suing for 65 million naira damage. According to her, she was abandoned at a hotel, at a mosquito-infested hotel. And she said that she asked the court, let me read it here, said the lecturer said that she was made to go through psychological trauma and abandoned. And she's saying that the COVID-19 test was never given to her, that she was actually negative. And she said that she asked the court to have a restrain the Lagos State and its agents and police from arresting her because she was upset that they put her name on the list in the newspaper that she was amongst those that absconded.
The wanted people.
And she was saying that she didn't abscond, that she was there and nothing, that they did not give her the COVID test as expected. And so she's suing the government.
She said she had tested negative in South Africa before she came back here after 2 days tested, she was still negative. So she is not even sure why they locked her up or isolated her by force.
Yes. That she was stigmatized also.
Okay.
And that gunman that was shot,
yes,
not the businessman that was kidnapped in
front of his gate?
Yeah, in front of his gate. He was just going in. The 3 gunmen came, held him by gunpoint, took all of them, made everybody lie down, and they took him through the bush, into the bush. According to the police, the gunmen spent the night there. They called the police, but there is argument between the police that is Lagos State or Ogun State.
Wow, not at this time.
So,
okay.
The guy is...
The major headline concerning financing was interesting, but I have to go on a break. It says all countries engage in deficit financing, so we're still within borrowing because Senate is insisting that we have not passed our borrowing
When
limits,
are we going to pass?
No, we don't want to pass.
All the money we are borrowing and we have not passed.
We never passed. Yeah. So we're still within. Buhari's loans for budget financing, not for looting as done as PDP, says that the money they are borrowing it's not for looting as PDP had done during their own time, that they are using for infrastructure. And they are going to be some generating of revenue. Okay, let's go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to move on now to Daily Sun. YK has the major headline, which is first YK. Let me say the major headline. My brain was like YK. Okay, Khan expresses worries over migration of Boko Haram to Kaduna. Strike ends in sight as doctors agree to sign MOU with federal government. Ohaneze to engage Uzodimma Obiano on anti-open grazing law. PAP uncovers 400 duplicated names in payroll. Nigeria's external debt hits 36 trillion naira. It's shocking Yoruba Nation is supporting IPOB says presidency. Federal government will soon lift ban on Twitter, says Minister Nnamdi Kanu. Igbo senators reps step in. Major headline, YK.
Yeah, the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Joseph Hayab, has described the relocation of the Boko Haram leaders to southern Kaduna as a wake-up call on the people of the state. A DSS memo was leaked where it said they are relocating from Sambisa Forest in Kaduna to Chikun in Kaduna State. Let me say it like Miriam. Kaduna State. So,
wow. It's dangerous as a bad omen.
Yes.
So if the DSS have a report,
it's like an affront.
Do you need Khan to tell DSS what to do with that report? Is it not enough insecurity emergency for them to feel abated? Because Khan is saying, even despite the report, everybody's just acting as if life is normal.
It is normal.
You know, until we start to hear kidnap, we start to hear killings in that area.
Before we start
he is even saying that it is not even just now, that it has been since. That's why there have been killings. He's even claiming that all the killings in Kaduna are related to...
So when we say intelligence, we need intelligence. What do we do with intelligence when we have... So the striking doctors, yesterday, a twist of drama happened in court. The lawyers to the federal government came to court to, brought an application against the NARD for contempt of court, asking the court that you asked us to sheath swords and, return to status quo, but these doctors have not resumed work. They've not done anything. And then their own lawyer now said, no, it's part of it. Sheathing swords is part of it. We've gone back to negotiation table. So they are now, that's how the headline says that the striking doctors signed MOU. They've decided to go back to negotiation table. And so when the two lawyers put those facts before the court then says, okay, they must see how that is happening.
But are they going to be working while they are negotiating? Or
You
they
know,
are still
it's funny.
shooting sword and
Yeah, they are
lying in their
negotiating. It's part of going to status quo.
Wow.
Because they were at negotiations before the federal government took them to court.
Wow. So I wanted to talk about IPOB. Senators and members of the House of Representatives from the 5 South eastern states yesterday are planning to intervene and negotiate with the relevant federal agencies and the federal government on the continuous detention of their IPOB leader. So they also condemned the pockets of violence that's been happening all around Southeast. They condemned the schools that were locked and students who were supposed to write in WAEC examinations were sent out. They said the Igbo people are hardworking people and they should be allowed to go about their businesses. Thankfully, yesterday we took in the papers that IPOB had rescinded the sit at home, saying it's only for when their leader will be presented in court. That's the only days that they will be sitting at home so that businesses can continue across the Southeast. They're also saying that they're going to be condemning the continuous marginalization by this present administration since 2015. And so they wrote a communique and presented it to their people, saying that they need to liaise and negotiate with the federal government on how they can move forward and allow the Igbo people to develop at their own pace. And basically everybody would open businesses.
Do you think that
now.
the government and the IPOB can come to a compromise?
IPOB has become a terrorist group, so I'm not even sure the government
Proscribed
is
to be.
They're prescribed to be.
terrorist group.
So they're not going. So I don't think the government would want to have that conversation with them.
With
unless
them.
they're
If you
able
want
to.
peace,
Yeah.
I think
we are
communication
willing.
is key. I always say it.
If we are willing to rehabilitate returning repentant Boko Haram members,
So?
there's nothing stopping federal government from calling
IPOB for a meeting. Have a meeting, yeah.
leaders and having a conversation.
I mean,
I totally agree with you, Imam.
Because that was what worked.
Expect.
That was what worked in the Niger Delta. When the federal government thought an offensive would solve Niger Delta issues,
It didn't work.
Nothing worked.
Okay, let's move on to Twitter. So the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture was saying yesterday that their talks with Twitter is quite respectful and productive, and they're hoping that very soon they're going to resume work according to them. He was saying this at the FEC meeting yesterday after he was asked by journalists on what the updates were. And if you recall, I think it was a report that was saying that we lose about $250,000 per day, or no, per hour actually, since the loss of Twitter was banned from Nigeria. So he's saying that they're trying to do everything to change, to say that what they're trying to do right now is to change what their mode of business and to ensure that it is mutually beneficial to both the country and to their own organization.
Business,
so we are still, they keep telling us soon.
It's as if we're in a time warp. Because when I left, before I left,
the same thing.
a month before I left, it was the same thing, exactly the same thing that he said, that he's saying
We're in
now.
a loop, we're going around.
You just,
So let me even
time has stood still.
Okay, maybe time hasn't.
No, they're still negotiating.
They were negotiating before I left, and he said it's almost...
Well, okay, let me tell you what he said. He said, if the operation has been suspended for about 100 days now, I can tell you that we are just actually taking about a few more days now. So say that if you measure it, if we had negotiated before it was 100 days, now we're just a few days. So that time you're talking was
So
about
now we're about 50 days.
No, then it was about 50. When you're talking about 50 days, now it's about maybe 10 days left. That kind
Are
of
you sure? Are you sure it's not another 50 days?
No. They didn't
Because
even start the negotiation.
I was surprised
on
when I
time.
got to England, Nigerian phone. I just did Twitter. I just entered Twitter. I say, yay, send me on Twitter. Oh.
Moving on to Daily Trust, Nigeria's free fall continues as Nigerians rush to hold dollars. This is a gruesome picture to look at this morning. How fighter jets killed locals in Yobe. Very, very painful to watch. Stamp duty, Malami writes 36. Governor says no recoveries. Nigeria's debt profile hits 35.4 trillion naira. Okay, Major, the picture story.
The picture story in the
what happened
Trust. So fighter jets were reported allegedly to have killed people in the Buhari village, Usori local government area of Yobe State. According to them, this happened when farmers were leaving the farms and heading towards the Gedam market. This is a famous market for grains and livestock, and they saw a fighter jet fly over with the camouflage colors of the army. According to this Ali Lawan, who was the eyewitness, giving eyewitness account to the Daily Trust, and they fired into the market. At least 8 people became immediately, and lots of other people injured from this. The government said this must have been a mistake. The attack must have been by error, and they didn't say much more.
Very
in the
expensive
report.
mistake.
Expensive mistake, but 8 people were gone down, and this was supposed to be the fighter jets picking out suspected bandits and all of that. But they also say in the report that because it is usual for these bandits or terrorists to use human shield, that mistake was possible.
We have to move on. Let's go to Vanguard. Nigeria now owing 35 trillion. Total debt stands at 21 trillion naira. 25 million Nigerians may remain outside telecom coverage after the 5G rollout. Hush puppy, final decision on Abba Kyari will be taken by the president, says the police minister. AIB submits interim reports on Air Force plane that crashed and killed the former chief of army staff. 100 days after FG says end inside for Twitter. And resident doctors agreed to sign MOU with FG to end strike. Okay. Who has the FG
police
rollout and hush puppy? Yeah.
Yes. The police minister says that they've sent the report, they submitted it to the IG. The report on Abba Kyari has also been submitted to the Attorney General. They're waiting for legal advice. And the final decision rests on Mr. President on whether he will be extradited or not. But I don't expect it to rest with Mr. President. I believe that there should be institutions. And when a police officer is suspect like that, suspension and maybe redeployment or whatever will be decided. Then the Attorney General works immediately within his office and does what
Can I ask you a question? Have they brought out the result of their investigation? Because maybe I missed it.
They said the report is concluded. They have submitted it.
Oh, they have submitted it, but they're not telling us.
They did not tell us.
We don't have time.
They need to tell us.
So they said date has been given to for our 5G network, which is likely to be early next year. But there are indications that about 25 million Nigerians in 114 telecom clusters will remain outside the coverage areas. There are also another 13 million Nigerians in another 103 clusters that will not be connected, that were just recently connected to the 1G to 4G network that will be outside of this 5G when it's finally launched. And one of the reasons this is happening is because the telecom operators have tried to stay within commercial viability. So they, put their networks where they can make money out of it. And the environment as well is not enabling them to give the national coverage to everybody.
I hope my own network will be there.
But they're advising that the operators, your own network, what?
My own...
Should be there, it should be there. To take advantage of the Universal Services Provision Fund by the NCC to achieve at least 50 or more than 50% national
we are
coverage.
States.
You're not there.
All right, we have to run, but it's important that we must mention that Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has been named the first African on the Time magazine's annual list of 100 most influential people of the year. Actually, she's not the first African, but it says here that the DG of the World Trade Organization, she's the only Nigerian, actually, that's it, the only Nigerian in this year's list was named alongside other people like Joe Biden and Xi Jinping. Donald Trump made the list, and Elon Musk, all right. And
He's
Kamala
influential.
Harris. He is quite influential, actually. Okay, that's all we can take on the front page review. When we return, we move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So join us on this show is an HR consultant, educator, and family life enthusiast, Elizabeth Ajitomobi. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you very much.
So,
I'm excited to be here.
Usually, for some weeks now, we have been having conversations around family, handling issues, crises. And if you recall, there was a video about somebody who had a help, who tried to poison them with some kind of, I think, was it Dettol or some kind of
Antiseptic.
Antiseptic. Yeah. Oh, yes, it was Hypo thing. So I'm just mentioning brands. Okay. So in continuation of that, actually, because that's really the crux of our conversation today is how do we begin to manage these situations? How do we even prevent it from happening? In continuation of that, help us understand the issues around those who support families. So the helps, the drivers, the nurses, the nannies. How do we get the right people? How do we treat them? Is this supposed to be terms of engagement? How do we determine these things? That's really the focus of our conversation today. And we're so glad to have Elizabeth Ajitomobi here with us to give us some perspective to this. Welcome again to the show, madam.
Thank you very much.
So I know this is your area where you help people, especially in getting the right people to support. I like the word support staff.
Absolutely.
Domestic support staff. So, and many people fall into that error of getting the wrong person. Maybe they find it the cheapest. Let me just find somebody that can just do something in the house. But times have changed. More people are enlightened. So what's the first step when somebody needs help in the house? What are the things that you look out for, and how do we engage appropriately?
Okay, thank you very much for that. I think the first question we should be asking ourselves is we need to move from child labor, hiring underage children. Because many times, I think that's where it begins from. People would say, oh, this person tried to kidnap my child, or this person tried to poison my food, this person she did something. How old is this person we're talking about? Recently, there was, I don't know if you saw a little girl that her employer poured hot water on her body, and you saw it. And many times, it's frustrating dealing with a child. Asking a child to be a domestic staff, it's a lot of work. A domestic staff's job is not an easy task. You know how it is. The staff is the first person to wake up in the house. They try to put things together. And most likely, they are usually the last people to go to bed. And then it continues like that every day for 365 days.
And they don't have days off.
They do not have days off. So we need to begin to change this narrative. And you know how it is that you said that times are changing. Even times are changing for the domestic staff. So you are interviewing a domestic staff, and she's asking you, how many children do you have? How big is your house? Because those are the questions they are going to put into consideration to be able to determine how much they would like to be paid. And then if you say, oh, no off days, they don't want to even agree to that.
So for me, I know we focus so much. I don't know whether your agency does anything for the family that is taking the assistance. The job that you cannot do is what you're paying that person to come and do. So
yes.
You put the value on how that will tell you if you're doing it yourself. Do you do any training for the families that need this staff before you give a staff to them? I know you do so much for the staff.
Yes.
Already.
So we have platforms in which we reach out to employers. These are clients of agencies. And one thing we have done in the industry, because we're trying to sanitize the industry and to standardize the industry. What has happened before now is that, everybody just does different agencies, there is no standard, no structure. Now we have an association, AHEM. We're trying to structure this industry because we're all here.
Sorry,
we have
the industry. Which industry?
Yes.
Supports the industry.
Industry, but how is it an industry?
Yes, it is an industry. It's a care industry. And it's a very huge one. And if we actually pay attention to it, we can get huge economic value from that industry.
Yes.
Because even remember that part of the industry, we have caregivers for elderly people.
Yeah.
Yes.
These people are different from nannies.
Yeah.
But in Nigeria, many times you just find out that somebody will say, I need a nanny for my elderly parents. So now one of the conversations we're having is, if you come to say you need a nanny for an elderly person, we're saying no. You don't need a nanny for.
You need a nurse.
You need someone that is specialized. You need a specialized caregiver so that the person knows how to care for your parents. So these are the things that we're talking about. And it's an industry. Although it looks like it's not a formal industry, but we're going to get there.
So how do you structure payments? So there are some domestic staff that I've seen that actually receive below minimum wage. And I worry. So my worry is if you're not able to pay at least minimum wage for a staff, why don't you try and do the work yourself? So how do you structure in such a way that they have their standard, they can't go below
that.
What are you doing about that?
So those are the conversations we're having with employers to say, look, this person works so hard for you. The person is effective in your home. Why don't you pay this amount? And many times you have, I'm not able to. But the truth of the matter is that childcare in any part of the world is expensive. And we need to begin to face those realities. Because the staff also, they need to have their own accommodation. They need to live well. They have their own families to feed. And, we need to begin to structure this. So AHEM, which is the Association of Household Employee Managers, is the umbrella body that is standardizing Nigeria's domestic staffing industry.
I love it. I really love this idea. And I think it's a great one. But let me let you finish.
So we are having these conversations amongst ourselves, and we have started telling all agencies no, that salaries shouldn't be below the minimum wage. It shouldn't be. because this staff also needs to make a livelihood. And we're looking at situations where in the future somebody would be able to build a career
out of this.
Yes.
Wow.
You should be able to send your children to school. You should be confident because some people just have this natural gift of caring for people.
Right, so
and it shouldn't be a problem.
So aside from the monetary part of it, there are also terms of engagement. So what are the do's, what are the don'ts, how do you treat them, what are the areas, the guidelines the employer should use, and even them, because sometimes they come in and they're helpless. They have no clue.
Yeah.
They've never been through any kind of training.
Yes.
So as we're sanitizing the industry, money-wise, yes, it's important, but how do we agree on the terms of engagement where both parties are in agreement?
So one of the things that agencies under AHEM are doing is, before a staff is deployed, there has to be a written contract. So the domestic staff has a contract, the agencies have the contract, and the employers themselves. And some of the things that contains we have in the contract is a staff should have a resumption time and a closing time, even though they're in your house. Somebody cannot just be working, like, even machines break down. Machines break down. So there has to be a defined working hours, defined days off work. Your staff should be fed morning, afternoon, night, especially if they're leaving. Sometimes you have employers that will say, oh, I'm feed farm, I want to be slim, so my staff too. Your staff doesn't want to be slim. Just
your staff needs carbs to do the work.
Let them just give them food.
What if somebody employs somebody from your agency and that person is a murderer?
Okay, so before the staff is who is liable? So before a staff is deployed to a home, so we do background checks. We have background checks, verification officers. So we have members of AHEM Nigeria that are verification organizations. So that's what they do. They do background and they go into people's criminal records. And then so before someone is deployed to your home, we do all those checks.
To be sure
so
it's not
that makes you liable if you fail to find out.
Yes.
Yes. So, for example, you have somebody who's in the village and maybe he or she is not really doing much. Can I attach the person to an agency? You know what? Go there for training and learn, because you're trying to build an industry. So this is something that they can actually earn properly from. Sure. So if I have family members who are just really, they're not really sure what they want to do and they like to care for people, maybe we can actually refer them to these kind of agencies across the world to go to learn training. Exactly. So you have consistent training, or is just a one-off training you have?
No, we have consistent training, and we have trainings from time to time. In fact, the event on Saturday is tailored to domestic staff. There are going to be training sessions, and aside from that, we are going to be giving out awards to deserving domestic staff. You know, because we want to change the narrative. We cannot keep doing things the same way and expect a different result. So, in fact, in other parts of the world, this month of September, this week, we're celebrating housekeepers in other parts of the world. Next week will be nanny recognition. So we just put that together.
I like that.
And the month of September is the month of appreciating your domestic staff.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing about domestic help, support staff and all that. I don't want us to focus so much on the issue of maybe the monies in terms of engagement, but there are times where these people do things that you want to discipline them. You feel like, how can you do this to me? Or you try to, and how, in this kind of situation, does somebody report to the agency, or how do you correct somebody who lives in your house, who's probably even old enough to be your daughter?
Who's an adult.
Yeah, maybe she's 18 or so, or maybe 20, and she's like your daughter's age, and thinking, okay, I can correct you the way I correct my daughter. How do we have that conversation? I'll come to Imam.
Okay, so one of the things that we have in our contracts is that you cannot go physical on anyone. So you need to report to the agency. And if it's something that is that grievous, we're having arbitrators, mediators now Yes, lawyers that we work with that are guiding us to be able to channel disputes in the right manner so that people don't take the law into their hands. Somebody misbehaves and you pour hot water on the person. I mean, that is extreme.
I know that I agree with you that all this, because I actually witnessed where this young girl, she was maybe about 12, maybe even younger, and the woman's children, if she was 12, the woman's children were 10 and 8, and she was buying all her children ice cream, and the household was just looking lonely, and I felt so bad.
Yes, it happens a lot
for the girl. So I understand your agency, but is this not too much for fairy tale? Because I see the ones in England, they are under no agency. They just go, especially if they are from Philippines or Singapore. They come, they just collect work, get a good salary that is not even taxed. There is no agency, and they are well treated and they are well paid.
Under the table.
Under the table, you know. So
I like what you said, Ma. They're well treated, they're well paid.
That's the
and you see, that word well treated, in Nigeria, it's not the same. There's this huge class gap.
So wouldn't it be better to have an organization that is actually
changing the mindset?
Yes.
That's part of what we're doing. That's part of our work. And that's what we've started sensitizing the public, how you should treat your staff. Your staff is not beneath you. We're partners.
Well, if you're a woman that used to, if you're a woman that used to Igbaru, your daughter doesn't say,
Let me join on that question. So that class problem, you know, traditionally, culturally, there's class. So you talk to your support staff as you like. In our various languages, we have terms. Do you put in your contracts ensuring dignity for this staff, such terms, such use of language becomes liable on the person so that they read it before they sign it? Maybe that compels them. So this is giving the person, the staff now, a platform to sue. If they feel
that would scare me.
The language.
Because I would, because I'm just going to take it. If you introduce that so early, I wouldn't want to engage. I would just say, because any small thing.
Because you know yourself.
No, because I just say that for me as a human being, like I say, because I can slap my daughter anytime. I know that she's 10 years old and she knows I can just hit her head or pull her ears. And I feel like I have somebody who is 18 or 21 in my house. I mean, reality. I'm trying to be as real as possible.
Here's what I'm pushing. I know myself. I have a temper. I don't have a staff. I had someone support me with my daughter, and she would provoke. Sometimes I would say, Auntie, this is what you came to do now. This girl. And every time she's watching TV, she's distracted. I would look for other means. And when I got tired, I said, please just be going. Please, I beg you, be going. Because I know myself. If I pounce on that girl, we'll make headlines.
So that's one of the things that we keep saying, that you don't hire someone because that person is available. You hire someone who would fit, who would match your personality.
That's what I'm saying.
So, for instance, you have domestic staff that are very, extroverted. They like to party. They like things. It would fit a particular person. But you need to know kind. Exactly. Hire your kind.
Wait. Let me stop you there. Me, I like to party. Then I will hire a staff that likes to party. Chef will be going to the party together.
Everyone that like to look.
I know. Chef will be going to the party together. Or we'll be sharing the same husband.
You can then hire someone.
My like kind of person.
You can then hire someone that is calm. That is a calmer version of you. But some people, so we've had employers.
As I go out, she won't wear my clothes.
No, we've had employers.
Yes, now.
I think what she means is that someone that is like you said that if you're having party every time in your house, she knows she won't be upset.
She will be used to the crowd.
She knows how to manage it. You have children that are very active. They know how to go all out with the children, roll on the floor with the kids. So you just need to hire your own kind. And then there are employers too. In fact, there was a lady that was sharing with me. She said she had this very colorful hair, and then I was like, this type of hair, a lot of people won't like to hire you. She was like, it was her employer that did the hair for her. Yes. So you have people, honestly, so different strokes for different folks, honestly.
I had a secretary once. I came into the office, she had more cred.
So I would like that we also focus our attention on the people doing the hiring, on how to manage conflicts. and how to hold themselves. Because no matter how hot-tempered you are, you will not slap your boss.
Sure.
But you want to slap somebody else
That
because
is
you
tough.
feel
So
that
that
it's beneath you.
Those guys that will slap their secretary.
No,
They
that's
are
what I'm
oga
saying.
like that too.
Yeah, the other way
cannot slap
around.
Oga
You will not slap your boss because you're
When
very...
you come home, you
So
come and
how
take
do
it
we
out
get the employers now to understand that they're dealing with human beings?
Yeah.
Is there an age limit to the people that they can hire? That also helps you because you can't be slapping an adult. They will beat you blue and black.
True.
They slap adults, they slap old people.
They go beat you.
So I understand. And you know, that's where this class issue comes in, and we need to address it. It's a big issue. Because as far as I'm concerned, we're all here. You can't be in your children's school. You have to be at work.
Yeah.
So there is dignity in every labor. You would know the impact of a mechanic the day your car gets faulty. Do you understand? So there's a derogatory way or culture that we have imbibed, which is very wrong. And these are these are the issues that we address. Because first of all, we always say that don't hire someone that is not yet 18.
Okay. An adult.
Yes. And the funny thing is that even 18-year-olds, 18, 19-year-olds, as a domestic staff, it's very tough on them to do the job. Because many times they now see you as you're maltreating them. I don't know if you've ever had that experience.
Yeah,
you hire someone and the person feels like, I'm being maltreated. Because they don't have the capacity, they're not mature yet to be able to handle the pressure from the job.
Okay, I have to go on a break because we've not touched the issues of drivers. Everybody now just takes the steering and drives, and because now I'm a driver because you can drive. I mean, I pride myself. I think I'm one of the best drivers Nigeria's ever had.
Wow.
I love to drive. I'm a fantastic driver. So driving me, you better know how to drive. And I get really irritated when I'm like, what is this? I'm paying heavy, and you're like a driver. So do your work go into training? Proper driving. When we come back, we'll talk about this. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we're asking about support services in the home, domestic help, and all that. Before I go into the question on the drivers, you have some messages on for us? Imam, go ahead, please.
So our viewers are having a conversation online, talking about how this has been a tradition, how Bilikis Mafia is saying that even if you go to the market, the geologists, they hire them, and there's a proverb in our place where Runi Baba Onology, because we get staff and the way we treat them, talking about class. Moloa Shion Umisaki says, I sincerely think our government should look at regulating how they are cared for. He asked me, says, I don't think that people should hire kids as help. Better to get mature people. I feel that you talk less that way. Bilikis says, the concept of the guest spoke about, the standardization would regulate all those issues more and more, and like it's done abroad. All right, so issues of drivers, I was saying before, how do we get the right kind of drivers who actually know their job? Because sometimes you are scared of how they damage your vehicles, instead of how them colluding with the mechanics. You're scared of the fact that sometimes they drive on, they are bad drivers. They can kidnap. So how do we verify the kinds of drivers that we get?
So I would advise that it's better you go through an agency. Because if you pick someone from the street, I don't know how you're able to verify and trace. Yes, so yes, you are able to trace them to the agencies. And agencies, what they do, and businesses in the industry, they go in, they go to the people's homes, they verify them, verify their guarantor, and then they also check their work history. So, and that is where you can tell that, oh, this person has not been on a job for so long. So, for instance, you see the trend of maybe 2 months, I left this job, in a space of 1 month, and then you want to begin to ask questions. So I think the major work you need to do to get it right when you're hiring a domestic staff is to take your interview sessions seriously. Ask all the questions, tests. So let the person, before you hire the driver, let them have a test drive.
Right. Let me take Ayo. Ayo, are you there from Festa? Hello, Ayo, are you there?
Yes, I'm still there.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay.
You're live. Go ahead.
Hello.
I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm there. Good morning.
We can hear you, sir.
Please, your guest talk about paying minimum wage to the domestic staff.
At least.
Yeah.
You are going to talk about.
You're listening to the TVIO. That's why it's delayed. Please remember when you call, it's delayed in your house. So once you hear me say you're live, it means you're live.
Isn't a driver's license and some tests by the agencies of government sufficient for you when you need to hire?
Yes, that's on one part. Then another thing is now the verification, the background. You need to know that this person is not a faceless person. It's not someone that would run away with your car, go to Benin Republic, hide for a few months, and then
Sell it.
Just sell it, and then goes back into the system. And then they can travel to another state and just change their names, and nothing happens.
I like that you're formalizing this industry because, so where do you get these people from? Do they just come in from, where do you get them from? Where do you recruit from? Or do people just send you, their sisters, their brothers, or
referrals. In Nigerians, yes. So different organizations put up adverts, and then people apply. People go through interview processes, and then shortlisting and all of that.
Yeah. I have a question for you from Tube. It says, please ask your guest if a driver or a housemaid from my agency bashes your car, burns your food, and breaks your property, what will happen? They're asking you, it's not me asking that question.
That's a very good question. And that's where insurance is coming in.
Oh.
Yes, because we now need to begin to pay insurance. However, do employers want to pay insurance fees?
Excuse me,
have they paid for themselves?
Some people have not paid for insurance for themselves. You want me to go and pay insurance
so
to you?
That is, so those are that's why you see that we need to formalize these things. So, and that's why you say that it's
government should first formalize itself now.
It's working your back.
We're going government never formalize.
Truly, we need to.
Yeah.
But you know, it's so important. Well, you know, the domestic staff or your support staff is so crucial to your career growth and your business growth.
Right. This I'll come to you. Give me a second. Let me come to Olaolu. Are you there? Olaolu, are you there?
Good morning, yes.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you. Well, before I go on with the question, I want to appreciate Nima for her objectivity in her, the topics that you bring up from time to time. My question goes to your guest. I want to find out if someone takes a maid from her agency. You take a driver, for instance, like Mariah mentioned earlier, and the driver bashes your car. Or your maid that you're paying very well, maybe burns your food because she's engrossed with watching one program or the other, breaks your plate. Who is liable? Thank you.
I think so.
That's the same question.
Yes, I think it's the same question. So one of the things that, I said that the interview process has to be thorough. You can't just hire anybody because what agencies do, agencies don't just dump someone on you. They help you shortlist people, and then you have the final say. So you are the person that has hired the staff. When this person comes, or before the interview, what did you check? Did you check that? Did you ask questions about their capability on the job? So one of the things we say is that the staff has to be competent, they need to have character, and they need to blend with the culture in your family.
Yeah.
So someone that maybe you have this family is very serious, everybody is, and then you have someone that just wants to watch TV
all day. It's a problem.
If not
let
staff,
me even ask this question. What are some of the etiquettes that you give these employees before they are employed? For instance, we have house helps and drivers who have a beboru nature, who cannot mind their business. So you're in the car and your madam or your guy is having a conversation and you are listening in. And immediately that conversation ends, you start giving your unsolicited advice. How do you train them to understand the do's and don'ts of the job?
To exist and disappear.
So, agencies under AHEM do this. They give all this training.
Okay.
However, we will still go back to our education system. as a country. So, and that is where, you know, the bulk of it lies in. Many times people, even if your staff is saying that, oh, I don't want to do borrowing, you have neighbors, you have people, you have nosy neighbors sometimes. Because we've had one issue that keeps coming up is sometimes you deploy a staff to a home, you find out that these people don't stay up to 1 month. And it keeps happening like that. And then you find out that there's someone around them
Who is giving them
who's
gist?
always giving them tips to tell them, oh. And then when you're asking the staff, and they say, Auntie, they've told me that nobody stays in this house. Everybody leaves this house. So they make it a pattern. So back to your question, it's now a collaborative effort. Because the domestic staff will not, if you don't encourage all of these excesses, I don't think it's something that would continue. When they see that there's nobody around to be gossiping with, I mean.
Let me take this call from Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka, are you there?
Every information about me, you get to the police or get wherever you keep my information appears. So if we have things like that, life will be easy.
Chukwuemeka, we lost you. Are you there?
Hiring, and when you hire somebody, you know he's going to work. Today, as I speak, I'm doing a shift that starts at 7:30 in the morning. I dare not miss it. I am there at 7:30. My closing time is 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, the next person that is taking the shift is already there. I don't need to know him. He doesn't need to know me. The service user, whether he knows me or not, I come in, I render my service, sign whatever that is signable. Off I go. But in Nigeria, God have mercy.
All right, thank you very much, Chukwuemeka. We're going to wrap up on this because I really want us to take out the lessons from this. So we've agreed that we're formalizing the industry. These people that work with us as domestic are human beings, and there's more terms of engagement. But there are damages on both sides, emotional damage on the part of the helps, and even material damage on the part of the employers. You break my plate every day, and I'm still going to pay you
your full salary.
You pour. In fact, there's one.
You bought my food according to.
You see, I don't even mind. In my own house, for example, I mean, I'm really great with help. I've hardly changed in years. I have the same people for many, many years. So the only problem I have is that because they feel that I am such a free person. So she can wake up today and say, okay, she's giving the whole street moi moi. So they're just distributing.
Same issue I have.
And I'm thinking, what happened? I gave the gateman there. I gave the gateman there. And I'm thinking, auntie.
With whose money?
With whose money? God bless you. I said, Hotel Afalabi Brown. They just come
maybe they see you do it.
Yes, and then they see you do it.
I'm just saying that we need some kind of decorum.
Yeah, sure,
you
need to take permission.
Both sides must be ready.
Yeah.
So I think we can wrap up this conversation. Let me give you a few minutes to
I just
tell us
find
about your event coming up.
Difficult about formalizing an industry that other industries are not formal. How it's going to work, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I personally would run away from informality.
Why? It's safer for you.
But I think it's good because it's an employment opportunity for people.
Yes.
It's a business opportunity for you. These business people that like business.
Yes.
It's a good business. I mean, it's very lucrative because you always need help.
Yeah.
You always need a fantastic industry. So I think
it's even worse for her because the day she goes to employ a murderer and she doesn't know.
God forbid.
She will hear it all. All of them Scots, they will end up.
Especially with all these people that broke out of jail now that are all over. We don't know.
To be honest,
Nigeria
after
no
the
records.
NSAS thing, you know, during the NSAS we had jail breaks. Yeah. And we had that discussion amongst ourselves that we need to, you know, pay attention to the people, and we had to take up our verification processes notches higher.
She's not only not you.
If I have the opportunity, I would definitely like to run this business, do a business. I mean, it's something I think I can do.
Headache you will follow. Ask her.
I think it's a good business opportunity, and I think people who are caregivers can learn from the organization. And I think people must register with the organization so that we can verify and ensure.
Him Nigeria on Instagram and.
All right, well done and congratulations on your events. You're hearing they're going to have maternity, nanny of the year.
Yeah, we're going to be giving out awards. Their employers have nominated them.
Oh,
yes,
that's very nice.
Oh, wow. Celebrating them on Saturday.
We'll follow up with that and just see. It would be nice to talk to one or two of them on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And just know what the experiences are. So it'd be nice to have that.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go on a break.
No more drug.
Amen. Why can
Amen.
It's a London thing.
Oh my God. I don't know what is London about. What I've been saying this morning.
When we come back, we move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So, according to a handler, it says, never marry anyone or a woman addicted to prophets or a mother who goes around seeking prayer. They call them prayer prostitutes these days. According to this handler, it says your marriage will be controlled by prophecy. Now, the reason why we're having this conversation is because many homes, we get lots of messages. As the ladies of Yobe, you get lots of messages from men, sometimes women, concerning the fact that their wives are constantly either extremely respectful to their pastors or to their prophets, or they are constantly looking for prophecy, and when there are critical decisions to be made in the house, until Madame calls pastor, nothing is done. So we've seen this message repeatedly in our Instagrams individually, and we thought it's something for us to discuss. Yes, it's part of our culture to bring in to bring a third party, a credible third party, and usually that credible third party is usually a spiritual leader, you know, to bounce some things off, because you feel that person can give you that leading. But sometimes we take it to the extreme where before I move the first step, let's call this thing. Before I do the next thing, so is this the right thing, or how do we do it such that nobody gets hurt? So you can call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. Will be happy to read your messages. Yes, Nima.
So I laugh at people who claim to be religious in Africa. We have an African culture where when a child is born, we check the child. They'll go, if it's Ifa, in the areas they do. In our own area in Edo, they have how they do it. And this translated largely into how we continue religion. For us to accept religion, we just sort of mixed it up.
Our tradition.
So now we will now go and call Imam or a pastor who does not have divination, whose religion, like Islam, clearly is against divination. We will now bring them. They will now do magic. He knows he's not divining anything. And now say, some even do what Islam forbids totally, the sand ones. And then they will tell you that it's ajo. One of us was saying to me that religion and ajo, said, no, this one cannot be saying the truth. And because of that, mostly women have ruined families' lives. They rely on these people. They call them the very important third opinion in every decision they want to take, even in their child's choice of school. Some checks that you should do by yourself. Some people go for interviews and they come back. One was saying to somebody, said, my uncle is a millionaire to me, has asked me to come and work in his industry in Aba. But I saw my pastor. He told me that he wants to use my destiny.
Oh.
My neighbor quickly asked him, this destiny you are using to drive Okada. This destiny you are using to drive Okada.
You don't use
Why don't you just dash your uncle? Maybe he will be able to make millions.
And pay you something.
And pay you something dignifying. Why are you driving Okada with raincoat siren and say they are using your destiny? So this has largely affected us. And the truth is, it's a circle of slavery. The way I've seen it, it's a circle of slavery, very damaging way. You put money like water in a basket, you never end. It never stops.
Okay, let me come to BC on this matter. What are your thoughts?
I agree with this handler. In fact, I will extend it to any woman or any mother who is always on the mountain looking for something. You should run away from them. Because the truth is, we have direct access to God. As a Christian or a Muslim, when you surrender your life to him, he can speak to you directly. The reason Jesus tore that veil at the temple after 3 days was for us to have direct, back in the days, let me go back to the scriptures, you would always go to the priests to seek for what is God saying, what is God, which commandment is this one again, how do we do this and how do we do that? But when Jesus came, he said, I did not come to destroy the law, abolish the law. I came to fulfill it. And he tore that garment to give you direct access. Once you believe, you can pray in your closet and you will hear. And God does not even speak the way we expect him to speak these days. So when I see people who are running, he can talk to you. He talks to you. He gives you, when you're reading the scriptures, he jumps at you. You can get a rhema from, and the next step, no, hold on. So people who are still running from pastor to pastor, from imam to imam, to get direction on how to live every day is already an anomaly.
But in this
and you should
Bible,
run away from them.
says,
Hold on, no. Because I remember when I wanted to marry, I had some people like that in my space who were always constantly praying and praying and praying and asking and seeking to see for somebody and see for them. I just felt, okay, let me submit name to them. Yes. I now gave them the name of the guys in my life. Oh yeah, they say, no, this one is bad for you. He's not good for you. I was like, wow, I am happy for the kind of mind God has given to me. I took my decision. I continued the relationship. Today, I am still married to this person. And before the marriage came, I went back again. I said, okay, try this name. And they said, it's now good. He was now good after he had bought a car. The first time he was not. Imagine if I had relied on people giving me stories. I would have missed the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh.
This same Bible says that in the mouth of one or two witnesses, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, we also try to confirm what God has told you. From somebody who's supposed to be a man of God, that's really how it's done. So yes, you hear, but God can also send you people to confirm. And who better else than somebody who is your leader, who's your pastor, or who is a woman, a spiritual leader in your life. So these things that are there, but I hear you that in some cases we overdo it. But we must not negate the importance.
Some people have not been doing it and their lives, some people have not been pursuing confirmation and their lives have been going okay. Yes, we have them. I am a living example. I don't get confirmation for anything. If it jumps into my head to do it, I seek for clarity. In my meditation, I pray about it and I move on. And so far, so good. I have not gone to meet anybody that the decisions I've taken for my life is not working. So it's about your relationship with God. God can speak to you directly. If peradventure you want to bounce an idea off, it's not for you to take what the person has said to mar your life and your children.
There's nothing stopping you.
Do you think Yahoo people are talking to God too?
They claim they do. They still go for these confirmations. They do.
No, but they're quite successful.
It's still in.
They read Psalm working.
No, why I'm asking this, why I ask that is because I think that the poverty mindset has just clouded our thinking process. There are some boys, every Christmas, I give them a job. Now I have to buy uniforms for them. I give them make sure there's no go-slow in our area end of the year.
So that we can come and ball.
So, I pay them quite a bit of money. Just make sure. So I did it the first year. They were happy. The second year, because of COVID, I reduced the money a bit by, I think, 10 or 20%. But, I had to buy T-shirts again. Because when I asked them for the T-shirts, I gave them.
They have used it.
They have used it. Okay, this time when I give you the T-shirt, please return them so that next year we can use it. They say I want to remove their destiny. I say, you. I mean that I give you money every time you are the people removing my destiny. I could not understand. And since I don't operate like that.
But so the reason why I want us to be very careful here. Because there are people who bounce important decisions off their spiritual leaders, and they get good direction.
That is not the job that God sent them to.
Thank you.
Let's I'll come to you, Imam.
I agree.
There are people who are spiritual leaders who have walked the path that you're walking, especially in marriage. Many of them, 50-year celebration anniversary in their lives. Many years have had 30 years plus experience where they are spiritual leaders. So you're a new married couple and you need guidance. Would you rather go and meet somebody who is not in your own spiritual circle? So you find somebody who can listen. So I'm saying that in everything, people abuse it. There are some people there. So you can get the spiritual guidance and that's fine. But others, some people abuse it.
It doesn't have to be spiritual.
Thank you.
You can seek the counsel of, well, not because you're here. In my own marital issues, I have sought the counsel of YK, who's been divorced, and I've been guided and it's working now. But she's not a Muslim. She's not any religious. But I have seen the people that are supposed to be people
and it's not working.
And if I'm confused.
It's both ways.
So this is what my religion says. It says you should do your initial prayers. That's, we call it istihara, with your God. And then the verse goes, I said, seek the counsel of people around you. The counsel of people around you.
Not the spiritual leadership.
You can talk to your father, mother, pick their experiences to that issue that you're trying, because the Quran extremely emphasizes the use of your reason. So you pick moral zone, pick YK zone, pick everything. You sit together. You must reach a conclusion with that peculiar problem that you have that works for you. When I had to go to the hospital, someone came and said, Imam, I've been praying for you. I've been praying for you. Logo. I said, me no go. Me no go. In fact, let me tell you funnily, the person said, you should be careful where you walk. Because it's only you that is working there that is having all this problem. I said, because I have a peculiar mark sheet with God. So my problems will form me. And my experiences will form my person. So of course, it's not going to be, we're not going to go through the same. So now, when that person came, and my father now came, I said to my dad, I said, we should stay. Say, yeah, pray to God now. That's what God wants us to do, so you stay. And that's what religion did not say, oh yeah, remove your reason. You know, because it derails you. And it's if I had fallen, there was one my husband even blocked, because that one came on Facebook. You know, he wrote it like that. And my husband just said, what is, I was even trying to school down on the levels of Islam. And he said, don't lecture this kind of person. Block this. These people can't change. You will spend your entire life sowing and giving shadows. Them. And you see what this man is saying? If it's in a marriage, if that couple had a destiny at all to make anything, the definitions and all of those life
we
people,
confuse their
not
destiny.
Be confused. It will set them back over 20 years backwards because they are constantly waiting to take decisions that they have seen clearly is a risk.
It's not going to work
based on somebody else's.
That doesn't know what is happening inside my house.
Come and give you advice.
It's only what I tell him that he knows. How can he give me advice? He should face his own family. Exactly. Because he has his family. That's not the work that God sent a pastor to do. The work that God sent a pastor to do is to pray for you.
Yeah.
That's
support your prayers. Not
as a pastor, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your good, for everything good to come to you. That's my work.
Not to tell you what to do.
It's not to tell you,
don't take that job.
Or slap your husband tomorrow.
No, that's extreme.
No, we're just saying.
I'm just saying
extreme examples.
No, I'm not. These are extreme examples.
Even they tell you to slap, can you slap you to check yourself? Your hand lift up to slap. So it's not anything you take from the advice.
Where we are.
Yeah, we know where we are.
What I'm saying is that I hear you. There are some people that take it to that extreme where every single thing, can I wear my dress? Can I
travel to see my mother?
Can I travel? Those ones are extreme. But I'm saying that let us not discountenance the importance of spiritual guidance in different parts of our lives.
Okay, so it depends. So it depends on you. Some people go to meet somebody to get spiritual direction. Others go to their secret place and get direct information from God on how to move. So let's not even make it that you must have somebody who tells you spiritually.
Let's make it that you mustn't.
Succeed. You mustn't. So choose where you want to be. But I wanted to say something about human beings. We always like to avoid trouble. We like shortcuts. We like everything to be successful. Everything. So once you just place your hands like, let it be moving, 100, nothing is happening, nothing is hindering me. But the obstacles make you. The problems you face in life are meant to form you, and meant to prepare you for the future. Why do we want everything sorted before we even enter the marriage? So I want to see 50 years of my marriage before I even say I agree to this man. I don't want to work. I don't want to sacrifice. I don't want to compromise. I don't want to show love. I don't want to do anything. Let me just enter. Let everything be good.
Excuse me, the only people you should take advice from, let me tell you, the only people you should take advice from, your lawyer and your accountant.
Let me take this call. Taiwo, are you there?
But they will not come.
Hello, Taiwo, are you there? Oh, we lost
let me add to that. Your psychologist, because sorry, no, because
you have one now.
No, we don't like to pay for services. You like that one that will say, I have entered prayer, and this is what your solution is. The professional.
Let me share you this
that
story.
will give you assessments. You don't want to.
I'm trying to be on my own side of time because but I have to share this story with you. There's a guy we met. Oh God, he was telling us he's a pastor. I mean, of course, we disconnected from him 100%. He was telling us about his father's friend just became a commissioner in one of the states. I won't mention the states. And he's so excited because he just realized, this commissioner, job don't come. So he now said, this is the plan. He's going to call the commissioner now and say, I'm going to tell the person that they are trying,
you should be careful around his chair.
Wait now, don't really remember the conversation. He was excited. I was like, how are you excited? Do you guys that close? Are you that close? No, I'm not close, but I know that is an opportunity for me. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, when he gets to that state, he's going to go to the commissioner's office and tell the commissioner he must not enter the office because he does prayer.
But that's how the trade works.
On the chair.
That's how the trade works.
So what he did, he actually carried it out. He told the commissioner that God told him he must not enter the office because they had just sworn them in. He said, don't enter the office. I must not pray. After praying, the spiritual cleansing, everything. He now came in, and then every week he was doing something to make sure that they, And I was just listening to his mouth like, Father, Lord Almighty. This man is just on a business plan.
Let me tell you, there is one governor, I won't mention the states. He has refused to enter his office.
Chineke. Why?
Because he said the last governor did juju there. So not the office, the house. He goes to the office. I don't know if the other governor didn't do juju in the house. So he doesn't enter the house. He drives to another town.
Whoa, to sleep.
To sleep. Because the former governor did juju. When I heard, I said, this is a non-starter. But another one, there's this guy, he brought a letter to my brother that fella sent him to my brother, and this is the letter, this is what. Let me say, when fella comes back to you, tell fella that if he doesn't come to meet me directly,
he should carry his letter.
I'm not going to listen to his message.
Let me pretend.
Let me take this call. Hello, are you there? Oh, hello.
Hello.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, my name is Yobe. I'm calling from Shoki.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Yes, very
we
clearly.
can.
Yeah, thank you. This is the first time I'm calling into you.
Welcome to the show.
I want to tell you people that the way you started the question was not the way you have still discussed. You said someone said to marry someone whose mother is connected, maybe is prophetic or whatever, going to from prophet to from pastor whatsoever. Yes, I want you to understand something. In this society that we are, before the advent of Christianity or Islam in our society, in Africa or in Nigeria, let me say,
we said it.
Parents have a way of finding out what happens about their children even before they were born. In the Bible, we have the case of the mother of Jacob and Esau. When there was issue, he went to see the prophet to seek. So it is not new to us in this part of the world. And when anybody does that, it doesn't mean that that person should not be a marriageable partner. And I want you to understand something, that this society we are, except want to pretend. Those of you that are celebrities out there, you know where you get your counsel. You know who you consult. You not be spiritual. But for you to get things done, there are people that you rely on. So I want you people not to paint it as if it is out of place.
Yeah.
The only thing is how will they do it in a way that they will not use it to hurt people.
Thank you, Dowu, for helping my argument.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to communicate. So it's not totally out of place.
I didn't really hear what he said.
It's not out of place. It's not out of place.
What did he say?
Saying that we've been doing this for many, many centuries.
He says it's an African culture.
Yes.
We've said that.
And that, we should not say that it is out of place because, we do it because of a need.
It's a religious culture, not African.
Thank you. No, Africans
we used to do divination now.
When we were born, according to my people, they said I was the third girl. And so somebody got provoked and said, let's go even check. These people don't have boy at all. They went to check. So all those things.
That one is the Ifa talking to you, not a human being.
But we had a boy. So the truth is, I don't want to sound too religious. So let me I don't know how to put it in the most simple terms. You see this head? Even in our cultures, Yoruba people used to say that if somebody is wise, it's your head, your destiny that you would call God. It's almost to that point. So when the religious books are telling you, think, use your head. They say Yoruba that your mind is your greatest weapon.
Yes, use it.
In anything that you want to do. If you accept it that this thing, you want it to work, you will do the work. You will do the work.
We
you
don't
have
like to do the work.
Don't discount the importance of counseling. Don't discount the importance
Counseling
of
from the counseling is from the experts, not a pastor.
Don't discount
a pastor who
life coaches.
A pastor who has read the Bible.
A life coach like that.
It is a trade now.
Yes, what I'm saying, like, a pastor who has read the Bible,
that went to study,
who is well versed in the words of God, can guide me on what the Bible is saying.
Why you not read that?
I feel read that now.
No, you feel read that.
I don't understand that.
You need teacher. Call them a teacher. Call them your spiritual teacher.
So if I get, okay, thou shalt not eat, right? Let's just say, for example, and I'm saying, okay, God said I should not eat. Then I expect that if you are my spiritual guidance, God, then my pastor, I read this Bible, he said, God, I should not eat. What do you think about it? The Bible said I should not eat. He will now confirm, it's true. This is how it is done. This is what, he now give me stories to confirm that indeed I should not eat.
Have you heard
let me do an example for you now.
The old prophet and the young prophet, and the old prophet deceived the young prophet. You've not read that part of the Bible.
Let's use thou shalt not eat. Let's use thou shalt not eat.
You will not eat again.
Wait now, you just
pastor confirms the message I read that don't eat. Then I wouldn't.
No, wait, which message you read? If the message didn't apply.
Yes.
Okay, so thou shalt not eat pork, which is in our own.
Yes, it's in our own.
No, you have read it. You're not saying, but I was hungry. The exception is right next to it, and you're wondering, how do I apply it?
But we eat it now.
Our father, your teacher, not our father, your ustaz now, that's what we call them in Arabic, your teacher, can now tell you that, no, these exceptions apply in farming. They apply in war-torn zone. So whatever you find in war-torn zone, even if it's alcohol in thirst, is applicable there. So that's what you need a teacher for.
Yes, so explain the scriptures. Not to tell you how to pass your life, who to marry, who to follow. No, we're not saying the same thing. Who to follow. The spiritual leader is meant to help you with the tenets of the scriptures, to guide you, to open your mind, to make you understand.
Not your own particular life.
Not your particular life on who to choose, which job to do. Let me give you another example. Let me give
BC another example.
Okay.
If I go for a job interview with somebody who wants to give me a fantastic job, but there's something when I wait for an interview, there's something about his spirit that wasn't connecting with my own.
Interesting.
I really wanted that big job, but my spirit was just not connected. And I come back home, I said, let me speak to my pastor about it. I met this man, he wants to offer me ₦1 million every month, but there's something about this guy, and he helps me to go and pray about it, and then confirms to me, yes, so God is saying that person might not be the right person to work with. It's a confirmation.
Yes, but
my spirit is already telling me, I need a confirmation from you, but you can't give me that confirmation because you're not spiritually equipped to do so.
Excuse me. And the pastor has not met the person.
Yes.
And he has got the spirit.
Yes, he got the confirmation for you. Continue. Hungry never catch you.
The only I wanted to ask
you to understand the things of the spirit.
Let me
you understand.
You made an example earlier. Wait. An example that YK gave is based on my experience as me now. In my own right, I'm an alpharist. So let's just say that I told Morayo now that this problem that I'm seeing in your front, you are taking too much rubbish. I'm telling you from my experience that don't take it again. When your husband talks to you next and you shout, you fight for your wife.
Speak that English for him.
The spirit says that you should confront him. It's your problem. You now go home. Your darling husband, father of your children, somebody that is not just minding his own business, you start to confront him. It's actually that you come to me and say, I confronted him.
Now. You know that.
But we are saying that you have landed.
Let me tell you. So I have a family friend.
Wait.
BC, I'll come to you. Hello, good morning. Are you there? I think it's Cynthia. I'm not even sure where I am again. Hello, are you there?
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Morning, ladies. Anthony Manaingbia, ma'am. There was one time I had accommodation issues and I had to move in with these friends of mine I've known for a while. And then when I was with them, they had this spiritual father they will call every day. This man is this, is that. He has been giving us guidance. They will buy Bibles, go to the mountains and do so many things. And then I had a relationship that was working. They didn't know about it because I usually do not talk about relationships with friends I wasn't close to at that time. So I was like, okay, fine. The next time the man of God was going to come in, let me just have a conversation with him about relationship and life. And then I did. And then started talking. Oh, this one, in your father's house, there is this. There's a church close to your father's house. There's this and this. He started talking. He now said, in that your father's house, there is a tree in front of the house. The moment he said there's a tree in front of your father's house, I knew this man was a liar. Because in the whole of that quarters, my grandfather refused to plant a tree in front of his house. Because he said that trees are meant to be at the back of the house. They said, okay, it is under that tree, gone that it plants your relationship and destiny. If they don't uproot it, if you don't buy Bible, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you will not grow, you will never. And these people have been listening to this man, buying Bibles. He will tell them, buy 50 Bibles, one Bible, 5,000 naira. And they will gather their money and salaries. And at the end of the day, I learned my lesson. You have to seek advice from people whose life are a reflection of glory and beauty.
Thank you.
You cannot be talking to somebody whose life is in darkness.
Can you give what you do not have?
My late mom told me, said, go on your knees and pray to God and ask for guidance. If you do His will, He will answer.
Thank you, Cynthia. I think we're all in agreement that people abuse this thing. Thank you very much. People abuse. There's a left and there's a right. There are people who abuse it, and there are others who do it properly.
So I have family friends now who they've been stagnant because at the time the children were supposed to go to school, they had told the mother that their destiny, the children's destiny, were tied abroad. So when you get admission, after 2 years, this woman will advise the children, no, you know, we're working for your papers, you have to go abroad, this, that. A few years down the line, most of the children are now in their 30s, and they have not found their feet. They have not gone abroad. The one that even managed to go abroad does not have his papers. Everything is just messed up. And in my spirit, I am upset, but I really do not know how to communicate that you have ruined these children because you are constantly, who told you your destiny is in the abroad? Who? You can make it here. If these kids had done what they were supposed to do at the time they were supposed to do it, they would have found their feet. Who told you that they must be there to succeed? Because she was busy listening to all the pastors and mountain. She's always in the mountain praying, and things are still not working till today. And these children are beginning to wake up to realize that, what am I doing right now? So we need to be very careful because there's a thin line between just going today for just this small confirmation and that small confirmation, and then it spirals into all the confirmations you need to even feed your children. You need confirmation. To do this one, you need confirmation. We need to just be careful.
And you said something interesting.
Or a Muslim, hold on, please. If you're a Christian or a Muslim, hold your word. I do not tolerate it when a Christian does not understand the word of God. I feel like, what are you doing there? Why are you a Christian? You should know the word. That's the only weapon that we have.
Excuse me, because it seems as if all Christians are sinners. You said that there is no pork inside the Bible.
No, it's Old Testament. Old Testament. It's there now.
Pork, says in the Old Testament.
Pork, snails. Go to Leviticus. You see all of them listed. But you know, the way our
So you all eat snail. And pork. But it says don't eat it.
In the Old Testament.
So the Old Testament is null and void.
No, we're not saying that.
I'm asking.
We're not saying that.
The Old Testament, is it null and void?
No, it's not null and void.
So why are you not listening to it?
No, hold on. So what happened was, as they were starting their lives, as they were starting their lives, they had commandments that Moses kept bringing that guided them. But as Jesus came, he established it. Everything is covered in law.
So Jesus said it's pork.
He did not say it's pork. He just established the law. He did not abolish it. But as long as you have faith, pork was created by God now, the same way chicken was created by God. So if you have faith and you don't consider it as sin, you can have it. We're under grace, the dispensation of grace now. So some things that really do not matter. Jesus says it's not about what you put inside, but what comes out of you. So it's not food that will make you sin or go to hell or everything.
Or pure,
yes, it's about the love that you give. It's about the humanity that you know. Jesus just I try smart.
Continue eating pork. That's the Bible says don't eat.
I wanted to make you laugh. Continue about abroad. If it's by divination, me I should
all
be
this pork you are
sharing.
Somebody told my mother that you see this one, this one. Even at school, it's not here. I told my mother, I said, Mommy, that person is not seeing future. Because me, my mind is not going anywhere. I'm not seeking visa anywhere. Another one came and said, when I was a baby, according to my mom, in this Tejo market where she was going shopping, someone stopped by the baby she was backing and then was bowing to me as a baby. And they said, she's a tough leader in the outer world. So my mom started thank you, that kind of thing. Me as a baby, I was a fair-skinned baby. You'll be attracted to me. Fair-skinned, my red lips was red. You could see my brown eyes. My mom said, so the doctor that birthed me in Rando then, Mainland Hospital, was a white, an Asian. She just liked the baby because I looked different. And that's maybe that's what attracted the person. But the person now, imagine now. I should be a queen.
Because let me be bowing to you.
Be bowing. I'm begging. Let's be serious in this life.
YK is back. Gotta wrap up.
We missed
Thank you very
you.
much. Obviously, we missed you on the show. We have to run. That's all we can take on the show, guys.
We'll talk about your
You did not
pork later.
summarize.
Let's wrap
We'll
it
talk
up.
about your eating of pork later.
Hey,
agree for them.
YK, go and
I
read
want to
the
agree for them.
Daddy,
Read the
please,
Bible.
let us know which
As we
Bible.
wrap up, I think the point is, listen, there's always two sides to a coin.
Yeah.
So some of us do seek spiritual guidance. Not that they will tell you what to do, but it's important for some
they
of us
will.
that we have spiritual guidance in certain things. Any important decision, that's fine. But there are some people that abuse those opportunities where people come to them and they use it to demand or extort money or things from other people. So you just have to be led within from God. Let God lead you to the right person. And if you feel that you don't need that guidance, that's fine. But in anything you do, stay true to yourself.
And
think
know
we can
your
wrap on that.
God.
And know your own God.
Know your God, yeah.
That's all we can take on the show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.